Okay, we're going to solve equations in terms of solving a variable in terms of another, meaning that if you have variables in the equations other than x, if you have x and y together, and here's the first question in these types of problems. What if you have a problem like this? If 12x minus 3y equals to 18, what is the value of y in terms of x? Okay, you all can see that. Now, what this means is we have to solve the equation in terms of y. So let's write the equation. 12x minus 3y equals to 18. All right. So when we have a problem like this, we want to solve for y. Okay, that's what it means. What is the value of y? So when you have that terminology or that statement, what is the value of y? Here are the key terms. What is the value of y? The solution is you want to solve for y. Okay, so we need to get y by itself, right? So we can use the additive inverse. All right, we can use the additive inverse. That means we can, this is positive 12x. All right, so we can subtract 12x using straight line. All right, and when we do that, we have negative 3y equals to, and this is where you need to be careful. We're not subtracting negative 12x from 18. It becomes part of the equation. It becomes part of it because from the last series, you only could add like terms. If this was 18x, of course you can do it. But if you can't, you have to write it in terms of degrees. So you have negative 12x plus 18. All right, because this is a plus 18. All right. Now, what we can do is to get y alone by itself, and we can use the multiplicative inverse. All right, that means we want to get y by itself, and we could do that by dividing 1/3 or just dividing negative 3 on both sides of the equation. Notice you have to divide this on both sides of the equation. That means that as we divide this, we'll have to divide each term. Now, when we divide that, we're going to see that these terms will reduce the 12 and 18 because they're factors. So let's do that. We use the multiplicative inverse. So we multiply by its reciprocal, or we divide by 3 on the same side, which is the same thing as multiplying on both sides by 1/3. So let's do it the way that we normally you are kind of trained to do when we divide both sides of the equation. All right, so I'm going to divide both sides here by negative 3, negative 12x divided by negative 3 plus 18 divided that by negative 3. And you can see here by dividing, you can see that you can see your signs. All right, and you know what will happen when you have the same signs. When you divide, it becomes positive. When you have the same signs when you divide, negative, negative. In this case, it becomes positive. So you have a positive 4x, and then you have a positive and a negative. So when you divide this by negative, this becomes negative, and then a negative times a positive becomes a negative. It still is a negative. So you have a negative 6. So your answer is 4x minus 6. This is the value of y in terms of x. Let's try one more.